Idaho's governor signing into law two controversial transgender bills. The move makes Idaho the first among states who introduced some 40 such bills this year to enact them. And it comes with the threat of legal action from the ACLU, which has precedent on its side. 6 on Your Side's Madeline White has tracked the bills from the very beginning and has the very latest.
It doesn't even seem like they have any logical reason to be doing this. It's pretty discriminatory.
House Bills 500 and 509 are no longer bills. They're now law. On Monday, Governor Little signed the bills, making it so, for one, Idaho's trans girls and women are now banned from being able to play on college or high school women's sports teams. The bill's sponsor said it would protect opportunities for girls and women in sports, calling it fair. Catherine Float is a trans woman who lives in Boise.
It really kind of just builds up that message of the belief that, we don't matter to other folks or that we aren't welcome. And it's just taking that same message and saying it now that's in sports rather than bathrooms or identity documents.
It also means trans people will be unable to try to change the gender marker on their birth certificate, causing a barrage of issues for people who identify and present as another gender.
Issues when people try to go apply for a job or get a driver's license, or, if you just have your ID and you're trying to get into a bar, you're using your ID to, get onto a plane, right? It creates issues.
The birth certificate legislation goes against a federal court ruling that says it's unconstitutional for states to ban people from applying to change the gender marker on their birth certificate. The Family Policy Alliance of Idaho commends Governor Little for signing this bill, saying it, quote, ensures the medical accuracy of state records and vital statistics, end quote. And they had this to say about the sports ban bill. The Idaho Attorney General's office said it could cost $1 million if the state had to defend the birth certificate ban and lost. Catherine says she feels there are bigger fish to fry right now.
Especially now with this COVID crisis going on.
Madeline White, 6 on Your Side.
So we should mention we reached out to the governor's office. They did not respond to a request for comment.
The fact that Idaho became the first state to ban transgender athletes from joining teams in which they identify. We followed the legislation closely here on the 208 from before it was introduced by Representative Barbara Ehart to when House Bill 500 was signed into law by Governor Brad Little. That was March 30th, while we were right in the middle of our first week under a stay-at-home order. We knew then what was likely to happen, and Idaho's chapter of the ACLU wasted no time with their tweet, "See you in court." Well, court could be the next step because the ACLU, on behalf of a Boise transgender athlete, has officially filed a petition in federal court. Today, Joe Paris spoke with Lindsay Hecox, the transgender woman who wants to run for BSU, and her legal team about how they hope to at least get her the chance.
I'm a trans student athlete at Boise State, and I would love to run as female on the cross-country team there.
Unfortunately for Lindsay Hecox, though, Idaho Governor Brad Little signed House Bill 500 into law a few weeks back. That legislation was sponsored by Representative Barbara Ehart. During the session, she explained why she thought it needed to be a law.
We cannot physically compete with men. This is all strictly about sports. We can change our outside appearances, but we don't inherently change who we are physically with the DNA encoded in our bodies.
So, to be clear, that bill now makes it against the law in Idaho for a trans woman like Lindsay to run on a women's collegiate team. What message did that send to you?
It was a discriminatory message. They don't care about us at all.
So Lindsay and the ACLU filed paperwork in federal court, challenging the legality of the law. The goal?
Hopefully take it down with preliminary injunction before the season starts so I have the chance to run.
Discrimination against trans folks is unconstitutional. We already know that.
Richie Eppink, legal director for the ACLU Idaho, says the bill and a possible lawsuit has been on their radar for a while.
Well, we've been fighting this bill since the day it was introduced in the legislature. The bill is a constitutional nightmare. So we've brought several constitutional challenges to the bill, including the fact that it violates the Equal Protection Clause, both because it's discrimination against all women and girls and because it's wholesale bar on the participation by trans women and girls in student athletics.
Every single trans person will feel more threatened by the fact that their legislature has visibly shown discrimination towards them.
The ACLU knows that, like past legal challenges to Idaho laws, the case will likely be a very expensive one all around.
It's going to unfortunately cost the Idaho taxpayers, which the legislator the legislature showed very little concern about and has shown very little concern about in the past.
Lindsay says for her, though, it's about fighting for what she believes in, equality.
My gender doesn't really have anything to do with it. I just want to run. I know that this is right. It's something that I have to do. This lawsuit discriminates against me and so many others.
And Joe, Lindsay isn't the only athlete involved in this case. There's another one, isn't there?
That's right, Brian. There is actually a cisgender athlete who is a high school student in the Boise School District, and they're part of this lawsuit as well. They're unnamed because they're under 18. They're a 17-year-old. They're not a transgender athlete, though, but they're concerned with the exam portion of House Bill 500. If you've missed this, there is a challenge aspect to House Bill 500 in the event that someone is questioning if an athlete is transgender or cisgender. And so there are plenty of cisgender athletes, Brian, according to the ACLU, that have a problem with House Bill 500, not even because they're transgender, but they don't want to be part of any type of inspection to prove their gender.
That's been a big issue for a lot of people, is then having to been forced then to prove that they are a boy or a girl and playing on that respective team. All right, thank you very much, Joe. Well, it's been estimated by people who count this kind of thing, and you heard Joe talk about it, defending a lawsuit like this could run more than $1 million. It's also been speculated that Alliance Defending Freedom, the organization that helped Representative Ehart write this bill, well, they would help cover those costs. So I asked the Arizona-based, Christian-based legal group if they, in fact, would be carrying the costs of this court case. This was their response. As a leading authority on constitutional law, Alliance Defending Freedom is frequently asked by legislators and legislative bodies to provide legal analysis and insight on pending issues and legislation. We were honored to assist Idaho legislators in their effort to protect women's athletic opportunities in the state. That's from Matt Sharp, as you can see there. That's the senior counsel. So I asked for clarification on that, because that's a lot of words, not exactly a full-throated yes, but that was all I received. Honored to assist Idaho, which isn't unusual. Often, special interest groups will provide attorneys to assist in the defense of a lawsuit. They would be recognized by the state's attorney general as a friend of the court, and they would basically write up the briefs, come up with the entire defense argument, and the attorney general would then just sign off on it. Our attorney general, however, has already signed off on a brief saying that this law, House Bill 500, will not be easy to defend.